Let's hear now from Dave Workman, a writer for an online gun magazine. Dave, thanks so much for joining us. I'd first like to get your personal take on what you heard from Obama today. As a gun owner yourself, are you outraged?
Well, not outrage isn't the word I'd use, but I'm kind of disappointed he's gone back to what appears to me to be the same old agenda with a new package on it. They've been talking in the Obama administration about gun shows since they took office. The idea of expanding the definition of what a gun dealer is might be alarming to people who operate gun shows or people who attend gun shows. But more or less, I think this is a lot of the same rhetoric that we've heard time and again before.
So do you recognize then that something has to be done?
Well, something has been done. I know 20 years ago, the firearms community out here in Washington State, which is in uh, the northwest of the United States, championed a couple of measures that actually swept the country. Hard time for armed crime and three strikes and you're outlaws. Those laws took a lot of criminals off the streets, but they didn't target or penalize law-abiding gun owners at all.
I'm sorry, I'm having a bit of difficulty hearing you, but you obviously feel that enough has been done in a sense already, but you admit that it's not working as well as it should because gun violence is hitting all-time highs in the United States. So do you get the feeling then you might be fighting a losing battle here on behalf of gun owners and advocates?
Well, no, and perhaps you misunderstood what I said. I think that the laws that I talked about have worked in the past. We've got plenty of laws on the books right now to prosecute
Then why
people
is gun
in the
violence at an
United
all-time
States.
high?
Excuse me?
Why is gun violence at an all-time high if you believe these laws have worked?
Well, gun violence is not at an all-time high. If you look at the FBI uniform crime statistics over the last decade, firearms homicides in this country have been on a steady decline. Last year, 2014, for which the figures are available, we had fewer than 9,000 homicides recorded in a country where millions of people own firearms. And most of the fatalities they're talking about are suicides.
Okay, let me ask you then, going forward, what will gun advocates like you and gun lobbyists like the NRA do to try and prevent further measures from actually being enacted?
Well, I think you have to remember one thing. We have a Congress in the United States. Any proposal has to go through Congress. It's a process. That's democracy at work. And whatever shakes out at the end of that is what ultimately will become the law. But everybody will have an opportunity to have a say-so in that discussion.
Not if by executive order, though.
Well, no, that's the problem with executive orders. It tries to bypass the Congress, and the Congress has actually been trying to do its job. They made some decisions on proposals back in 2013. The president didn't agree with them. That's not the fault of the gun lobby or anybody else. Congress acted on what they felt was the right thing to do.
But if an executive order is pushed through, I'm wondering how you and the NRA will actually respond, or will you eventually accept that this is what's going to happen, these measures will be enforced?
Well, no, I think that there's going to be give and take on Capitol Hill. I'm not part of the legislative process. I just report about this stuff. And during that process, we'll see some give and take. We'll see some discussion about what may ultimately happen. An executive order does not really have the force of law in this country. There are some proposals, I think, that he's going to have to run past Congress, including the funding for additional agents, and he's asking for $500 million for improved mental health services, which he may get some traction with that one. But by and large, I think that penalizing gun shows and the people who attend gun shows is the wrong direction, because most criminals don't get their guns from gun shows anyway.
Okay, Dave Workman, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us.